Welcome, my Mercurial Mercenaries, for a playthrough of Iron Maiden's Powerslave, the 40th Anniversary Edition. Welcome, my Mercurial Mercenaries, for a special episode of Discover. This is a listen through of Iron Maiden's classic 80s album, Powerslave, an album that's close to my heart for many reasons. But it's special because it doesn't necessarily matter if you're an Iron Maiden fan, because the primary focus, at least for the beginning of this episode, is the fact that Powerslave is celebrating its 40th anniversary. And this album, this printing of this vinyl album claims to be a special ZOETROPE edition. Now, lack of research here. I'm just going off the top of my head from what I learned when I was at junior school in this country. A zoetrope was a way of kind of going to the movies in the past, in history. And yeah, why not? In Egyptian times. And it was, as far as I remember, it was like a barrel, like a cylinder, where pictures were painted on the inside of the cylinder. And then you would spin it and you would view it just through a window, through a little segment. You'd look at one little bit of it, and you'd see a moving picture. Very much like, I think, when if you flip a flip book. And we always used to do this as kids. Maybe the youth of today still do it. You used to draw in the corner of each page of a book, and you'd flip it, and you could watch a moving picture. Now, I must admit that I used to do things like this before the internet was invented, before smartphones, before everybody had access to naked women on their phones. So maybe prior to having access to naked women on your phones, when you had to find a porn magazine in the woods covered in mud, and it was like whoa, look at this! Look what we found! A picture of a naked woman in a puddle. I mean, the naked woman, we found the magazine in the puddle rather than a photograph of a naked woman in a puddle. But imagine that. Imagine finding a photograph of a naked woman in a puddle, finding that photograph in a puddle. So a photograph of a naked woman in a puddle. Shut up. Maybe that was just something that we used to do back in the day when we didn't have access to a naked woman in a puddle. No, when we only had access to a naked woman in a puddle, we used to draw pictures. Shut up. I don't know. But we're gonna examine this 40th anniversary edition of an album that's close to my heart. Now, I've reviewed this album before, back in the day before I was a reaction channel. I just did a straight review of Powerslave by Iron Maiden. Now, what you need to know is that and before we carry on, this shirt, one of my friends went to Bali recently. Bali, it's just, I don't know where it is. It's far away from here. I think women in grass skirts, I don't know, doing the hula, or was that Hawaii? Anyway, Bali, and he brought me back. I've become known as someone who wears Hawaiian shirts pretty much universally, and he brought me back. This is a genuine Hawaiian shirt from Bali, all right? A genuine Hawaiian, I mean, yeah, it's still a gut to lose, but this is a genuine Hawaiian shirt from Bali. And I listened to, so I grew up listening to Iron Maiden, one of my favourite bands, if not my favourite band, to be fair. And I had Powerslave on cassette tape. Now, the youth of today, do you know what cassette tapes are? But I don't know. But I reviewed on my channel a long time ago the cassette tape of Powerslave, because my point was that we went from, there was vinyl, and then there was cassette and vinyl, then CD came out and everyone chucked their vinyl and tapes away. Then we went to downloads, and now we're into the era of streaming. And then these things creep back. So vinyl certainly crept back, and vinyl's a thing again. I think mainly there's a few reasons that I think vinyl wins the battle of any music format. And I think you've heard me say this before. You have access to the artwork, to an actual visual to go with the music, which if you just have things through ones and zeros, you miss out on that. And when you put vinyl on, you're kind of forced to listen. I mean, you can talk over the music, but you're kind of forced to listen because it's a bit of a pain in the arse to skip around with the tracks when you got vinyl. So it forces, and I must admit, I'm just as guilty of being part of the short attention span age as anyone these days. But it kind of forces you to just listen to the music. And that's the same with cassette. You could fast forward it and things, but that's pretty much the same with cassette. But in the olden days in history, not quite as far back as the Egyptians, but the time before digital audio workstations, things were recorded onto tape, onto analog tape, magnetic tape. And certainly the era of Powerslave, this was true. Recorded by Martin Birch. This one was produced by Martin Birch. Produced, engineered and mixed by Martin Birch. Now, my main takeaway when I sort of tell someone about the album Powerslave is that it sounds phenomenal. It just sounds warm. What do people mean when they say that? Bassy, full, not tinny in any way. This one sounds so bassy. That's the cassette tape anyway that I grew up with, listening to it at home. Not here, but back in the olden days at home. On my old hi-fi, like an integral, had a record deck on the top, and then it had a record deck, a radio, two tape players, and then a CD player. And then in my car, I like driving in my car. It's not quite a Jaguar. And listening to this, and it just sounded phenomenal. Now, so we've got a couple of things we're going to find out here. We're going to look at the ZOETROPE aspect of it, but we're also going to see whether this holds up, because my memory of Powerslave is the fattest, warmest sounding heavy metal album of all time. But this is, I see it includes this 2015 remastered audio. Now, sometimes remastering is hit and miss. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the remastering might be a miss, because this was already the greatest sound. Take the songs out of the equation, the actual music. Just the sheer sound, right? This was one of the greatest sounding albums of all time. And someone's fucked with it. So we got someone fucked with this in 2015. So we have to see whether this is now still one of the greatest sounding albums of all time. But in the first instance, my mercenaries, we're going to take a look at the ZOETROPE aspect of this separately. This is why you might want to hang around even if you're not an Iron Maiden fan, because we're going to experience what cinema was like in the time of Cleopatra. Actually, did you know this, right? Cleopatra, she was the queen of Egypt, although I don't think she was Egyptian. She was like Greek or something. Anyway, Cleopatra, the most famous of the Egyptian queens, existed in time closer to us now and to man walking on the moon than she did to the construction of the pyramids. It's weird, isn't it? So to Cleopatra, the pyramids were just as far back and a mystery as they are to us today. People don't think people don't realise these things, honestly. They need to listen to the Mercurial number 6 to realise these things. Anyway, we're going to lose the sticker. So the sticker says, Special ZOETROPE edition includes 2015 remastered audio, expanded artwork, and Powerslave at 40. Notes from Steve Harris. Steve Harris is the main guy in Iron Maiden. He's the bass player. He's the founding member. He's the primary songwriter. He is Iron Maiden. Other people come and go around him. He's the only person who's been there the entire time. But we'll lose the sticker. We'll lose the sticker. This is an album close to my heart. This is a first listen of the 2015 remaster. Let's say that. But it's certainly not a first listen. I've lived with this album since I was a child. Anyway, let's lose the cellophane. Cellophane. I nearly said cellophane. Well, I did say cellophane. Cellophane. Right. Okay. So, if you answer a question correctly later, you have the chance to win this sticker. Right? So now we can view, before we get onto the ZOETROPE, now you can view one of the greatest and this is just a matter of fact, one of the greatest album covers of all time, Powerslave by Iron Maiden. It's I mean, just look at that. That's fantastic. I know there'll be a few of you out there who are not too au fait with Iron Maiden, but this is Eddie. He features on every Iron Maiden album cover, and on this one, he's kind of Egyptian. We've got Eddie as Egyptian god here, haven't we? And then we've got any fan of Iron Maiden will have studied this artwork as a boy. Now, I never owned this on vinyl. I only ever owned it on cassette. But you used to fold out the cassette inlay, and there was loads of pictures. And I'm assuming we're just gonna get it on the gatefold here. Okay, no, I've never seen. This is probably the same pictures as the fold out. I did try and find out, actually, because I own it. Because I own the cassette, the original cassette from the 80s, which I've done a review on before. I wanted to find it so I could hold it up and talk about the cassette tape as well. But I've looked everywhere. I've looked in the attic. I've just looked everywhere. Can't find it. It's probably in here. But anyway, I can't find it. But okay, wow, all right. How interesting. Right, so this is the gatefold. We won't do a gatefold shout. We're more mature. We're too mature to do a gatefold shout right now. It creaks as it opens. Wow, look at that. Now, what I want to get across here, right? So I think these pictures did. These are probably the same pictures from the cassette tape. I'll be honest with you, I don't recognise that main picture. I don't recognise it. These are pictures from the World Slavery Tour. So they're probably not, because the World Slavery Tour happened after this album was released. So these pictures can't be from the original release of the album. Therefore, they just can't be, right? So, but anyway, let's just show you what's going on this inside sleeve, okay? See that? So they've got pictures from you've got pictures from the World Slavery Tour there. Also, that's a famous picture there from the Powerslave era. See that picture? That's a picture there on the top there of them standing, I think, outside the recording studio in like the Bahamas or somewhere. And the people think it's like green screened, but it's not. That's just how amazing the location is, for real. But what I notice here is that there's a hole and the record, see that? The record's inside. So what you actually have there, oh, wow, okay. Okay, that's quite nice, isn't it? Hey, hang on. Hang on. I mean, I've never seen that before. This must be the special, hang on. Okay, a booklet's just fallen out. This must be the special expanded artwork. Hang on. Right. Okay, right, this just slid out, right? That's the picture I recognise. This is the picture I recognise from the cassette version, okay? And the writing here must be written for this special 40th anniversary version. Yeah, and the cassette version did have the lyrics. So this version does indeed have the lyrics, and I'm assuming that this will be similar to the original cassette version that I had. And I can see that the final paragraph of this writing here says, it's amazing and scary to think that Powerslave was 40 years ago, and it makes me proud to think fans are still getting so much from it. So I mean, this is the new writing, which we will delve into. I think we'll delve into this during one of the songs, and one of the songs is called Lost for Words, Big Horror. And that's one of the... there's only a few instrumentals that Iron Maiden never did. Transylvania, about three, I think, instrumentals. But an instrumental is definitely a prime time to read Spiel, written by Steve Harris. We'll do that then. But what we need to talk about now, the primary focus for you guys, honestly, is the ZOETROPE of the album. So lots and lots of pictures, and each picture should be slightly different so that they move when we view it through a little window. I suppose they're trying to give you the impression that if that was spinning on the inside, that would be the window, that would be a window to view it through. In fact, that's impossible, isn't it? So I don't know what the fucking point of that is. Let's pretend we didn't do that. Oh, shit. Right. Let's think about how we're going to do this, right? So here's the album anyway. So this is the picture disc ZOETROPE version of Iron Maiden's Powerslave. And I don't know if you can see, but lots and lots of pictures all the way around the disc. And just viewing them like this, they don't look like anything. But when you view them spinning at 33 1/3 revolutions per minute, and you only look at one section of the vinyl, they should look like animation. The sort of animation that the Egyptians could look at, and nothing to do with a naked woman in a puddle in a puddle. You can see it. Look at that. Oh, God. Look at this. It works. Look at it. I'm not sure whether I can have it running through the whole video because I just need it so bright because of the shutter speed I need. But you can see it now. Wow. Oh, that looks lovely. Hang on. Let's just do the other side. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. There. Oh, look at that. See, technically this should be the best. Technically this should be the best looking video of all time. Apart from, for the ZOETROPE effect, I need my studio as bright as the sun. And for atmospherics, I need my studio dim so the coloured lights work. This is going to be contrary. We'll see how it goes. That's ZOETROPE in action. Oh, brilliant. I'm properly impressed with that. Hopefully it comes across on the screen. Yeah, hopefully that comes across on the screen. And for this playthrough, we are going to experience together. Well, I'm going to experience it. I'm going to experience it. You're just going to watch. We have Iron Maiden wine. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. See what I mean? There's more to this channel than just the actual music, see? Even if you're not into Iron Maiden, you've got to experience. You've just got to experience life with me, okay? So we're going to have this wine, which is Iron Maiden Darkest Red. And then when we open the wine, we've got our own special... Can you see this? We've got our own special Iron Maiden bottle stop to keep the wine fresh. You put this into the top of the bottle. Welcome, my mercurial mercenaries, for... that could work. Welcome, my mercurial mercenaries, for a playthrough of Iron Maiden's Powerslave, the 40th anniversary edition. You never know. That could work. And also, we're going to drink it from an Iron Maiden tiki mug. Look, let's just face it, right? This is what life's all about. Drinking Iron Maiden wine. In an Iron Maiden mug, tiki mug, whilst listening to Iron Maiden's Powerslave. And the only other thing which would work is if I was wearing Iron Maiden headphones, which I do have, because you remember from the past, we used to listen to music with these headphones on. But I've kind of, they're a bit... they're a bit decrepit, so let's maybe, I don't know, maybe we could listen to them with maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that. We'll think about it, okay? So now we just need to listen to the album. Side A of Iron Maiden's legendary album, Powerslave. And unlike ordinarily, I know what to expect. Although that's some serious surface noise there. Surface noise as loud as the music. Anyway, this is a classic song. This is Aces High. This is a song that Iron Maiden often open their gigs with, historically. Iron Maiden don't slam the record player with a chair, though, at the gig. The bass player is Steve Harris there. It's going to be that throughout the whole album. The air raid siren himself, Bruce Dickinson on vocals. I warn you now that I know every word to this whole album. Okay, so straight away, it sounds a little bit more tinny than I'm used to because, like I said before, I've listened to the cassette tape my whole life. But this is the 2015 remaster on vinyl. Picture disc, to be fair. Dive bomb that guitar. I mean this song. This album kicks off with a double whammy. Aces High and 2 Minutes to Midnight. Gonna be on any Iron Maiden best of album. This is the classic Iron Maiden lineup. Nico McBrain on drums, Dave Murray, guitars, Adrian Smith, Steve Harris, Bruce Dickinson on vocals. This was the first album that they had the same lineup for 2 albums in a row, from Peace of Mind to this album. So I think that's why they were really like this. Talk the shot burst and then turn away. Iron Maiden, right, historically, a band that will sing about war and movies in general. Very rarely love. And when they do sing about love, it can be their worst moments. I'm telling you that now. Most bands are suited to talking about feelings and love, not this one. I'll warn you now, I had a couple of cocktails since we discussed the ZOETROPE, and because of that, we probably aren't opening the Iron Maiden wine. Listen to that surface noise. It's like listening to Iron Maiden on a beach. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I've got to say, so far, this record sounds like shit. Now, this guy on drums, Nico McBrain. Most people watching this are watching it because you know Iron Maiden, so I'm just telling you what you already know. I'm teaching you to suck eggs. Right, Nico McBrain drums like he's an octopus. I remember I bought his solo record once, so Rhythms of the Beast. He was the sort of drummer that everyone aspires to be, and because of that, he became like a drum teacher in the early 90s. A very distinctive style, with like 100 toms. You hear it all the time, especially on this album. Never hit one drum when you could hit 20. I love it, but all the Iron Maiden music with Nico drumming is this. Yeah, a few too many cocktails. Let the creatures out will surely unbelieve. Napalm screams of human flame for blood, bells and feast, yeah. As the vengeance for the carnage cut their meats and lick their gravy. We are a child of the war machine and feed it with a famous breed. All the demons see the fortune and pain. Go to war again. Blood is freedom stain. Pray for my soul anymore. Not the sort of music you'd want to be singing in front of Iron Maiden fans when you've had a few cocktails. I'll tell you that now. And I'll also tell you that Adrian Smith is probably my favourite guitarist of all time. Now, I'm not saying he was fashion-wise looking at his best in this era. I guarantee if we look at the artwork, he's going to have his top off. Probably wearing like a waistcoat over a bare chest. Harmonics going on the guitar there. Very 80s thing. Steve Harris just keeping it steady. Yeah, I mean, this is a proper rock song. This is Adrian Smith wrote this one, I think. Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson. all dance to this song, to the shit that started me. Yeah, Adrian Smith, Bruce Dickinson. Compared to Steve Harris, who's the bass player, the primary songwriter, the other members of the band wrote very few songs over the years, but this one is a killer. In fact, honestly, some of my favourite Iron Maiden songs are collaborations between Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson. I'm thinking Can I Play With Madness? And there's a bit of a rarity on this album, which is the title track, Powerslave, which is a Bruce Dickinson song. Oh, listen to that bass playing. Steve Harris's bass playing almost makes up for the fact that he's a West Ham fan. I'm still liking that ZOETROPE thing. Yeah, it's a windy day in the world of Iron Maiden vinyl. Right, this is a slight oddity in that it's instrumental. And it's quite weird when this happens because you think you've got one of the, well, maybe the greatest heavy metal singer of all time on one of your most classic albums, and you choose to put a song on there that's an instrumental. So it's odd. Anyway, it's a great instrumental. When we got to Le Chalet Hotel in Jersey for writing, it was so bloody cold, freezing. The first week or so we ended up getting pissed because we had the old place to ourselves and a 24-hour bar. But you've got to get into the vibe of things. So by the time we got to Compass Point in the Bahamas, I mean, you know you're doing all right when you can record in the Bahamas. The Bahamas is no sawmills. By the time we got to Compass Point in the Bahamas, we were ready. As a studio, even back then, the equipment was a little worse for wear, but it was great. And recording 3 albums in a row there, from Peace of Mind onwards, was fantastic. And producer Martin Birch was great. We had fun working with him. He was just a character, great at what he does. He had a certain sort of charm about him because he had a great sense of humour. He was a skipper of the ship because he had such an air of command about him. In the same way, he was still open to let us do what we wanted. He'd get what he needed without you realising he'd done it. There's quite a knack to that. Martin was such a character on days off. Fucking hell! Yes! There weren't many of them, I must admit, so when he did get a day off, if we were out by the pool or whatever, he'd just sort of push everyone in and things like that, which is where he got the nickname Pool Bully in the credits. And the record is a favourite for some. I mean, obviously there's some really big songs on there. Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Powerslave. We're going to talk about Rhyming the Ancient Mariner probably during the song. The key tracks. But there's also depth, like the less recognised songs that people really love, like the Duelists. As for the artwork, once the pressure was off, and we knew we had the best part of the backing tracks down, Derek, Dr. Death Riggs, would come out to work with us. Powerslave was such a strong title and powerful subject that the art had to be that too. Simple as that, really. It conjures all kinds of imagery. On an album, you can have loads of different diverse subjects going on, but if you've got an overall vibe and a feel of something, that's what we always try and work for. That's why a lot of people think our albums could be concept albums when they're not. I mean, because of the artwork here and the song Powerslave, I always think of this like as an Egyptian album. But when you listen to the songs themselves, bar Powerslave, they're quite clearly not Egyptian. I mean, World War II, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Rhyming the Ancient Mariner. It's definitely stood the test of time without a doubt. Still in the wind. Imagine on this vinyl, we're listening to Iron Maiden on the ship with the Mariner and the Albatross. So this is Flash of the Blade. This is one of the lesser songs in the Iron Maiden catalogue. This is a song that they never really, I don't know if they've ever played it live, to be fair. What I will say, you know, perhaps you can kind of hear in the lyrics why they don't play it. But the chorus is still fucking mighty. I mean, a riff to a song driven by hammer-ons, pull-offs. Not a sexual term. And of course, when you've got Bruce Dickinson talking about using a sword, back in the day, he was quite a nifty swordsman himself. Quite a nifty swordsman. He's one of those blokes who can turn his hand to anything. Kind of like I don't want to overplay it, but kind of like Leonardo da Vinci of today. If Leonardo da Vinci had had long hair and a horrendous fringe. But seriously, singer of Iron Maiden, did a bit of fencing in his time, airline pilot. I mean, what more do you want to fill your time with? I mean, I barely have the time to have a cocktail. It's not a euphemism. I mean, this instrumental break now is just beautiful. Beautiful. And then we cut to the just the guitars. Perhaps they should play this one live, but they would say, which songs do we drop? Material number 6. Which song do we drop? Go. Actually, it's not the bit I thought. But it is a guitar bit. Let's do Nico instead. Let's choke the cymbal. Again, not a euphemism. Flash of the blade. You live for the touch, for the feel of the steel. You die as you lived. Flash of the blade. You live for the touch, for the feel of the steel. This is the bass though, doing octaves. Yeah, okay, we'll have a bit of that. Here's another song that is rarely played, if ever played. Probably never played by Iron Maiden live. Again, some of the stuff that Steve Harris is doing on this album is his best work. See what I mean? If you're gonna do like an air anything to this, air drum, don't air guitar. Always hit 20 drums when one would do. Except when I go for it, he doesn't do it. Fight for the split, fight for your love. Listen to the bass again though. I mean, it's quite simple in terms of the notes, but the technique's great. I gotta say, the instrumental passages on this album are fucking up there, aren't they? Some proper bluesy stuff going on here. We'll finish reading the Steve Harris's blurb on side B, I think. We'll just bask in the final few seconds of this album. Side A. I'm not sure anyone's ever played a shaker to Iron Maiden. That works. Honestly, this song isn't anything special by Iron Maiden. They never play it live. It's down the list of most fans' favourite songs. Well down the list. But when you listen to it, because you've got a band at the top of their game at this exact moment in time, even a lesser song. Come on! Are you going to join me for side B? Before we listen to side B, I noticed something when it comes to the actual picture disc element of the ZOETROPE, right? We've got various circles of pictures that when they're spinning form the moving picture. And what I've noticed is that each arc of animation represents one of the songs. So we have... I mean, the reason I noticed this is because I saw the unicycle, which I know is The Prisoner, an old 60s TV series starring Patrick McGoohan. Anyone who knows the origins of this channel and the fact that I call myself the Mercurial number 6 will get it. And then once I saw that, the fact that I know that the final track on the album, the 13-minute epic, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, based on the Samuel Taylor Coleridge poem, and then I saw that there's a ship sailing as the inner series of pictures, animation, I thought, okay, I get it. So, we got Aces High. Well, I can see it now. Isn't it funny that when I've been watching the animation going round, I hadn't seen that it actually is, I think, a Spitfire dropping a bomb. And then the bomb explodes. It might be obvious, but what happens is, on this channel, I tend to dive into things and just talk about them without really... So look, this is research now, okay? I can see that track 1 for Aces High, it's a Spitfire bombing, and then the bomb explodes. Then the second track is 2 minutes to midnight. Oh, no, okay. It's not okay, right. So 2 minutes to midnight is the dropping of a nuclear bomb. So track 1, Aces High, is a Spitfire flying. And does the Spitfire drop the bomb? Not necessarily. Hang on. Not necessarily, but track 2, 2 minutes to midnight, which is we have the doomsday counter, don't you? The clock. And midnight is the end of the world in a nuclear war. And 2 minutes to midnight, we're on the brink. And to be fair, the way things stand sometimes in our current world, we're apolitical, I know, but the way we are in this world at the moment, we do feel like we're on the brink. And certainly when this song was written in the 80s, that was the time where, during the Cold War, where we were really worried, like when the wind blows and that sort of stuff, we were really worried. So 2 minutes to midnight kind of encapsulated what we were thinking during the Reagan-Thatcher age. And track 3, which is an instrumental, it's just got a picture of an Egyptian god opening and closing its mouth. Track 4, Flash of the Blade. It is, as the lyrics go, you die as you lived in a flash of the blade, and he talks about killing St. George, I think, killing a dragon, or certainly someone killing a dragon with a blade, and the animation is the killing of a dragon with a blade. Then we've got the duelists. It's two people having a duel. And then we're going into where we're at now on side B. The first track of side B is going to be a very hectic song called Back in the Village. It's a song where I've never heard Iron Maiden play it live. When you hear the way that the guitar intro starts, you can kind of hear in a way why they probably don't play it. Very, very difficult song. I don't think it's considered one of the strongest songs in the Iron Maiden back catalogue. However, because it's the second song Iron Maiden have written to this point, the first being The Prisoner itself from Number of the Beast. This is another song that references the Prisoner TV show, and anyone who understands the Prisoner TV show will understand why the representation on this disc is of a unicycle. Weirdly, a unicycle with a parasol above it, so that if you were to sit on the unicycle, you couldn't, because the parasol is where you would sit. Don't worry about it too much. Then we've got the title track. This is what we're going to be listening to in a minute. The Back in the Village. Back in the village. I'm back in. Right. Is it a good song? I think on my original review of Powerslave that I did, I didn't rate Back in the Village. But since then, it's kind of grown on me. Over the years, it's grown on me. As far as a filler track goes on an album, it's a great filler track. And as far as someone who's calls himself Number 6 goes, it's just great, full stop. And then we've got the title track, Powerslave, written by Bruce Dickinson. Fantastic track. A couple of tracks really rolled into one. I think Bruce had his bit. I think either Bruce had another song or Steve Harris had a bit. But anyway, kind of an amalgamation that comes across as just a Titanic classic, which would be the Titanic classic on the album if it were not for the fact that the track after it is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Powerslave, into the abyss. Into the abyss I fall. The eye of Horus. Into the eyes of the night. So it looks like it's an Egyptian god. And then the final track, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, does indeed have a boat. Powerslave, Bruce Dickinson. This is the second track we're going to listen to in a minute. 7 minutes, 12 seconds. Into the abyss I'll fall, the eye of Horus. Into the eyes of the night, watching me go. Green is the cat's eye that glows in his temple. Enter the risen Osiris, risen again. Tell me why I had to be a power slave. I don't want to die. I'm a god. Why can't I live on? When the life giver dies, all around is laid waste, and in my last hour, I'm a slave to the power of death. It's funny when you really know an album, really know a song, that you can't just read the words without hearing the singer singing them. Let's just touch on Back in the Village. That's another Adrian Smith Dickinson song, and because it's an Adrian Smith song, it is driving. It is driving. Driving home for Christmas. Turn the spotlights on the people, switch the dial and eat the worm. Take your chances, kill the engine. Drop your bombs and let it burn. White flags shot to ribbons. The truce is black and burned. Shell shock in the kitchen. Tables overturned. Back in the village again. In the village. I'm back in the village again. Throwing dice now, rolling loaded. I see sixes all the way. In a black hole, and I'm spinning as my wings get shot away. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, even though I'm a fan of The Prisoner, huge fan of The Prisoner, and they claim this is like the second track to reference The Prisoner, it doesn't feel, apart from going on about I'm back in the village. Perhaps the questions are a burden. Everyone remembers, and every Prisoner fan remembers the signs. Questions are indeed a burden. Questions are a burden, and answers are a prison for oneself. That's directly referencing The Prisoner. Tables start to burn, but still we walk into the valley, and others try to kill the inner flame. We're burning brighter than before. I don't have a number, I'm a name. Back in the village, back in the village. It's so-so. It's so-so. I would say forget the lyrics and ignore. I don't think this is. It's not Bruce's final hour of fight. It's not Bruce's greatest hour, if you will. But we're about to listen to it because it's the first track on side B. But the instrumentation is fantastic. We're going to come to Rhyming the Ancient Mariner later. At that point in time, it was Maiden's longest track, and they've done longer ones since. But I think it really holds up. It's probably one of the greatest epic heavy metal songs ever. And there's a bit. I've always just like Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden, where it starts with an intro. Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666. Just like I've been able to say that to people in the past. It's basically it's a monologue. It's like you're presenting a monologue from Revelation, from the Bible, and the final chapter of the Bible. And people were like, wow, Mercurial number 6, you really know your stuff. It's just like reciting Shakespeare. And similarly, it's knowledge of Iron Maiden. Similarly, I can say, day after day, we struck no breath nor motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Water everywhere. And all the boards did shrink. Water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. The reason I can bloody recite Samuel Taylor Coleridge's famous 80, what year was it? Yeah, so late 1700s, early 1800s. The reason I can cite his poem is because of Iron Maiden, but it makes you sound clever, doesn't it? One after one by the star-dogged moon, too quick for groan or sigh, each turned his face with a ghastly pang, and cursed me with his eye. 4 times 50 living men, and I heard nor sigh nor groan. With heavy thump, a lifeless lump, they dropped down one by one. And you can just recite this to people off the top of your head, and they think, wow, this guy's clever. Shh, I don't tell anyone, but it's actually just because I listen to heavy metal. Anyway, get on with it. Back in the Village, side B, Powerslave. Oh, right, this is what I keep forgetting to do, right? I need to keep doing it like other people do. Please press like. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, because it's a real struggle to do these things. It's a kind of a lack of. We're a small club. We're a little band of brothers who like to get together in a small room and listen to some decent music together. And in some ways, you are the friend that I wish I had when I was younger, when I wanted to just experience music and talk about music. Yes, and have a beer and talk over music. But we're supposed to be in it together, and to do that, it would really help me if you press subscribe. It really would. More so, even, it would help me if you went to Patreon and subscribe there. Yeah, it costs you a little bit of money. It's like £2 a month, which is nothing, is it, really, in the scheme? I know we're in a time now where monetary things are like collapsing on us, and you've got to pay for Amazon Prime and Netflix and Disney and Spotify, and everything's coming to you, pay, and everything ends up costing more than it did in the old days. The streaming future has screwed us all. But still, please bear in mind, I don't make any money from YouTube. I never have done. I never will, because of copyright. I think other people manage to do it out there. I think other people do it by stopping the music and talking, or not even playing much of the music. I don't know how they do it, really, but I certainly don't make any money. Zero money. I only make a little bit from Patreon. It would really help. And also, and this is even if you are already subscribed to Patreon, everyone, just do consider buying. It's £5, but it's a way of buying my documentary that I filmed. It's about 5 hours long. You can dip in and out of it. And it's just basically about the Mercurial number 6 and the whole process of making these videos. But it's also a little bit of an existential talk on on life, the universe, and everything. It really is. I went deep into myself on it, not sexually. But yeah, it's £5, all right? I understand that, but it's a way of, it's a way of you, I don't know. It's a way of saying thank you. I mean, my favourite channel's Red Letter Media, and I would buy a T-shirt from them. I've bought T-shirts from various channels in the past. It's like just a way of saying, thanks, guys. Your way of saying thanks to me could be buying my documentary. You don't even have to watch it, do you? Right, side B of Powerslave by Iron Maiden. Let's get prepared to enter the surface noise. We'll pretend, on this side of the record, we'll pretend that it is the ocean and we are the mariner. Okay? Yeah, okay, we're on the sea. Wind's blowing. So I mean now, listen to this really hectic intro. I mean, it's quite un-Maiden-like. Which maybe is why they don't play it. Right. Nico's still doing his thing on those drums. See what I mean about the instrumentation? It's still shit hot. Sixes all the way. Questions are a burden and answers a prison to oneself. Shell shock in the kitchen. There we go then. Iron Maiden wine. Tastes alright. I might cook with it. It's almost Van Halen-like. Here we go. And this sounds right. This sounds to me like Hangar 18 by is it? Hangar 18 by Megadeth. A little bit. Iron Maiden, Darkest Red, selected by the band and approved by Eddie. This wine has been expertly crafted in tribute to all things Maiden. Good friends, good music, good times. A dark, intense and robust red blend from the Douro. The palate delivers a crescendo of blackberry, ripe black cherries and plums layered over subtle spice. And a bold, rich finish. Best enjoyed with the volume turned up. Come on. There we go. Come on. Focus. Focus. There we go. There's a fox after the chickens. Questions are a burden and answers a prison for oneself. Shell shocked in the kitchen. Right. I don't have a number. I'm a name. I'm a number. I'm a number. I am a number. See what I mean? It's hectic as hell. Jump back in the village. I'm back in the village now. I wanted to say, back in the village to haunt you again. What was the last line? That she doesn't say. I feel I just made that up. I'm back in the village to haunt you again. Come on! Come on! Into the abyss of the eye of horror. Into the eyes of the night. Watching me go. In this temple. Enter the risen Osiris. Risen. I love this bit now. This is one of the greatest Iron Maiden choruses. Here we go. Tell me why I had to be a power slave. I don't want to die. I'm a god, why can't I? When a life giver dies, all around is slave work. In my last hour, I'm a slave to the power of death. It's like that galloping instrumentation, but they're so good at. When I was living this life, fear was my game. People would worship. Drop to their knees. So bring me the blood and rip for the one to succeed, man. He is a man and a god, and he will die too. Come on, tell me why I had to be a power slave. I don't want to die. I'm a god, why can't I live on? In my last hour, I'm a slave to the power of death. Okay, here we go. Here we go. listen to this. Almost like a changing song. Just listen to this part of the song. You don't need me talking over it. It's so beautiful. Just beautiful. Right, we're going to get the charging bit now. Try and charge it a bit. I'll be honest with you, everything's going a little bit wrong. But why not during a listen through of one of your favourite albums of all time? Everything should go wrong.
Now I am cold, but a ghost lives out of pain.
Going from Back in the Village, which is one of Bruce's perhaps poorest performances, to this one. This one just burns with sheer godlike fury. Yeah, it does. It does. Burns with godlike fury. Arms in the air. I don't want to die. It's a bit of a Spinal Tap ending. Spinal Tap was filmed around the same time as this, I think. It's a little bit Stonehenge. Let's just, before we go into the final song, can I just ask a question? Are we going to do Stonehenge tonight? No, we're not going to fucking do Stonehenge. Right. My camera pointed at the record player keeps failing, and I don't know why. So, we need to gear up for this one. We're going to listen to one of the most epic songs we've ever listened to in the history of this channel. The 13-minute track, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, based on the poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, a proper classic of English literature. And when you listen to a Mercurial Number 6 reaction, or watch it rather, you definitely need to understand, and you definitely need to get a dose of very, very decent English literature. She sells seashells on the seashore. No, English literature. Okay, join me in a couple of seconds for The Rime of the Ancient. This is what not to do if a bird shits on... we could do it like that, hang on. Join me in a moment for... This is what not to do if a bird shits on you. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner! Okay, yeah, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I mean, this is such a kick-ass song. Come on! I'll try not to say much during this one, right? Just bask in the combination of great English poetry and Iron Maiden and fucking Bruce Dickinson. It's where nobody's been. And also for the purposes of today, this is an albatross, not a pelican. The albatross begins with its vengeance. Bad luck on the mariner, about his neck. The dead bird is hung, and day after day we're struggling on breath or motion. He's idle as a painted ship on a painted ocean. Water everywhere, and all the boards that shrink. Water everywhere, nor any drop to drink, no. Made me look like a fucking hero at school, that line. That part of this song. Dice the crew. She was the mariner, and it belongs to her now. Come on. Right. Okay. We're going into the amazing instrumental middle section of the song here, so we can now start. It's definitely stood the test of time without a doubt, but it's such a massive subject matter, so you've got to do it well, because if you don't, it ends up being cheesy. It could be a fine line, perhaps. But I think the artwork was fantastic, and the whole World Slavery Tour stage set that went with it was amazing. And this was like the centerpiece of the World Slavery Tour. This song. Bruce would leave the stage now and just dry ice, bathed in blue light. The guys playing the instruments, and we'd have a loop of tape, kind of reminiscent of Number of the Beast. And this is where we get our. Here we go. Right, we'll do it before he does it. One after one, by the star-dogged moon, too quick for groan or sigh, each turned his face with a ghastly pang, and cursed me with his eye. One after one, by the star-dogged moon, too quick for groan or sigh, each turned his face with a ghastly pang, and cursed me with his eye. For times 50 living men, and I heard nor sigh nor groan. With heavy thump, a lifeless lump, they dropped down one by one. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, 1798 to 1834. When you've got all these ideas you want to get across, you never know what you're going to get until you see the stage set for the first time during pre-production. And then you're blown away by it. And we really were. It's a massive subject. And to make it look big and feel right, not sexually, to make it look big and feel right wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but it just worked incredibly. It's something Rod Smallwood, that's the Iron Maiden manager, always prided himself on. Before the World Slavery Tour, we thought we were invincible, but soon we realised that we weren't. At that age, you're still learning. You're jumping out of your skin, and you just want to get on with things. You don't turn them down, but it taught us an important lesson. Sometimes you need to pace yourself. I felt like this with this channel at times, especially when I was on a roll getting 300,000 views a video. It took its toll. And bear in mind, I mean, ridiculously, I didn't make any money. Holy fuck, I'm an idiot. So, is it my favourite album? We've got the turnaround now. We can't talk during this bit. This is just one of the most fantastic sections of metal music of all time. Let's just bask in it.
The cursed lips on in their eyes. The mariner he wished he'd die, along with the sea creatures, but they lived on, so did he. And by the light of the moon, he prayed for their beauty not to. With God he blesses them, God's creatures, all of them too.
I mean, listen to Bruce's vibrato on his voice, the greatest in the business. Up there with Ian Gillan. Here we go. So is it my favourite album? The best? Everyone's got a different opinion, which is good. Everyone's seeing the world in different coloured glasses. I get asked that all the time, and it changes. The more albums you do, the more you change what you think. So it's hard to say. So I usually just say the best one is the next one. It's amazing and scary to think that Powerslave was 40 years ago, and it makes me proud to think fans are still getting so much from it. Steve Harris. Right, we've got another amazing turnaround on the instruments coming up now, right? Listen to this. There. That's very Black Sabbath-esque. Okay, we're going into the final length of the song, final stretch.
Wherever he goes, to teach God's word by his own example, that we must love all things that God made, and the wedding guest, the sad and wise man, and the tale goes on and on and on and on.
And because of the surface noises of the record, it sounds like the song is still going on. I mean, maybe the song will go on forever. Let's listen. Yeah, on this particular vinyl edition of Powerslave, with its incredible surface noise, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner goes on forever. The mariner's bound to tell of his story, to tell his tale wherever he goes, to teach God's word by his own example, that we must love all things that God made, and the wedding guest's a sad and wiser man, and the tale goes on and on and on. I mean, beautiful. If I was to finish, there you go, that's a listen through with me to one of my favourite albums. If I was to have to kind of say some more things about it, I probably, with some credits here. Okay, let's just have a little look through them. I remember from the cassette tape days. Is there anything particularly interesting? All songs written by Steve Harris, except Flash of the Blade and Powerslave by Bruce Dickinson. And 2 Minutes to Midnight, Back in the Village, written by Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson. The sleeve concept and design, yeah, by Derek Riggs. I mean, I know we've talked about it already, but I think it must be stressed just how fantastic this album cover is. It's just that, I mean, that is what vinyl's all about. I would have to say that's what vinyl's all about. And it's a shame that there's a whole generation right now that yeah, they'll happily listen to music. There's more music exists than, I think I read a stat the other day that there's more music put out into the world in 1 second than there was in the entire 20th century. But I mean, this is the entire package, isn't it, really? Everybody we've forgotten, buy us a pint and you too can be here next year in this list of names. Beware of false imitations. This album is dedicated to the memory of Marcus Crowe, a good mate and a great guy. I don't know who Marcus Crowe is, but he must have been one of Maiden's friends who died right back then. To the fans, thanks as always. See you on the World Slavery Tour, 84 to 85. Got any, ish. There's only one and that's fuck 'em. Kin hell. Fuck 'em. Kin hell. I up the irons. I never liked that bit. I never liked that. Even when I had that on cassette tape. I used to read this bit here. Never liked it. It's a bit shit, that. But overall, I mean, that's, like I said earlier, that's the picture I remember from the cassette tape inlay. And how cool is that? I mean, like, if you're a band, how cool is that as your picture that you have? I mean, well, or I would just say, wow. You know you've made it when you've made it when that is when you're not just stood next to a brick wall doing your band shot, but when that's your band shot. So let me down. Batteries have gone again. Shut up. Right, okay, that was Iron Maiden. That was Iron Maiden with Powerslave. Please press like, press subscribe, and join up to the club if you want more of this kind of shit. Next time it will be an album that you requested. Okay? I think I know what I'm going to do. But anyway, I don't think many people will have watched this because there's not a lot of Iron Maiden people that want to watch reaction videos. But still, I think it was worth it for the ZOETROPE effect. You tell me. Until next time. Over and... Postscript. As I never lie... my secondary camera did completely fail, even when I thought it was doing the business and I was doing the old worshipping thing to it and doing thumbs up to the camera. No, it completely failed. And therefore, I'm having to, because I never lie. I never lie, right? So I'm having to fake the record camera, not for the first side, not for side A, just for the blue side, side B. I'm recording this now after the event. And I'm gonna splice in this new footage whenever I'm pretending that it's just because I never lie. And I'm carrying on the never lying by saying this. It's just unfortunate, and that's probably the last ever time that the secondary camera will feature in a Mercurial No. 6 video. This is the primary camera now, filming the secondary camera footage. So, what a shame, but this is life, I suppose. And, but, I mean, that's so... Oh, be careful here. This is the footage that I'm going to bloody use. But still, that's so cool, isn't it? Interestingly, after the event, I've never heard of these ZOETROPE vinyls before. But apparently it's a thing. And they're everywhere. So just because this is the first time I've seen it, it means apparently jack shit. But there you go. So this is just a postscript. I think that's the word for it. And there you go. So yeah, I don't cheat. I don't lie. Well, I do cheat. I do cheat, but I don't lie.